What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the Heat Report. And in today's video, I'm going to be doing something that I wanted to be doing for a long time, but this is the video for it, I guess. The Miami Heat are on a 3-game losing streak, so I thought that this would probably be the perfect time for me to do it because I think that the Miami Heat, we're not getting to that panic mode yet because we have a lot of players that are out, a lot of key players that are out. And before we even get into the content of the video, just want to quickly brush up on those 3 games. I didn't get a chance to talk about the Sixers games or the game yesterday against the Pistons that we lost all 3 of those games. The first one against the Sixers, we should have won. Like, we were up by 5 with 20 seconds remaining, gave up a 3, turned the ball over, committed a foul. Joel Embiid hit the dagger, sent it to overtime, and overtime he just beat us. Joel Embiid beat us that game. But we should have won because we had a great position, up 5 with 20 seconds in the fourth quarter. So no excuse to choke that lead. Offensive rebounding was probably the main reason we lost. I mean, Joel Embiid, like, I'm not really too mad at how we guarded Joel Embiid. He was making a lot of tough shots. I thought Precious and Chris Silva did their best, but I mean, he is an all-world player, and he's just a guy that, you know, there's just guys that are just so special that they can just get their baskets and it doesn't matter what the defense is doing, and he's one of those guys. So we can't hang our heads about the effort we played on Joel Embiid. I thought we played some good defense on him. We didn't give him any easy looks. That's what I'm trying to say. But we should have won that first game. Second game, I just thought we didn't really come out with as much energy. Defensively, we were terrible in that second game, especially letting Shake Milton absolutely killed us. 34 points, if I'm not mistaken, in that second game. So that was probably defense was probably the reason that we lost that game. Offensive rebounding was probably the reason we lost the first game. And the game against the Pistons, it was the turnovers. And the turnovers came back to haunt us again, like I thought it would. We're still 29th in the league in turnovers, so we have to pick that up. I think a lot of that is due to the fact that Jimmy is not there, so we are missing a ball handler, and we were also missing Tyler yesterday. But there's no excuse for losing to the 2-9 Pistons. I mean, they're terrible. The Pistons are not a good team, so I don't get how we're losing by 20 to them. I thought nobody except for Bam and maybe Duncan Robinson and maybe KZ. I think apart from those 3 players, no one played well yesterday. Kelly Olynyk was terrible. Iguodala was missing a bunch of open threes, and it was just not a good look yesterday. And we have to bounce back. I think we're gonna be, when Jimmy comes back, we're gonna have a boost, because I think that with Jimmy, you're getting a player that when you drive, well, like when you're on a scoring drought, Jimmy Butler can just drive to the lane and draw a foul, or he can get an easy one inside. He can kind of slow the team down, calm them down, give the ball to him, and he'll do what he has to do. And I think Tyler is a guy that's getting to that, to be a guy that we can give the ball to and he can get us a bucket. Obviously, it's very early in Tyler's career, but I think he could develop into a player that can do that. Now, the video that the main content of the video might not even consist of Tyler being part of this team, because I'm going to be talking about 5 players that the Heat should target, and Tyler Hero might have to be in some of these trade packages with some of the names that I'm going to be telling you guys right now. And it's tough. Tyler is probably the guy that I probably wouldn't want to give up because he's shown so much, but it's up to the comment section for you guys to tell me whether you give up Tyler for any of these guys. And don't forget to like and subscribe and comment down below as usual. You guys killed it with the comments last video. I was asking, like, who would you trade for, and a lot of people, there were a lot of different names. Some of these names are on the list. So, you know, shout out to everyone who commented, left a like, and hit that subscribe button. As I said, we're at 250 subs. Let's get to 300, man. And if you're new, join the community, because we're gonna be talking Heat basketball every week. So the first player that I think we can clearly say that is someone that will help us in the now and in the future is Bradley Beal. Now, Bradley Beal obviously plays for the Washington Wizards. The Washington Wizards are not really a good team right now. I mean, they just won against the Suns, but their game against the Hornets got postponed, if I'm not mistaken. They're currently 14th in the Eastern Conference. We barely beat them by 4 though with their reserves in. So I think that Bradley Beal, he's probably going to be getting to that point where he wants to win a championship instead of sitting in Washington where they're probably not going to win a championship. I actually thought Washington was going to be a lot better than they were. I had them as a fringe playoff team in my predictions, which I did with my podcast. Check that out. Link is in the description. But I had them as a fringe playoff team. But I guess the reason that they're not right now is because of their coaching and their defense. Scott Brooks probably needs to be fired. Defensively, they just don't have the pieces. But I think Bradley Beal would really benefit the Heat. Number one, Bradley Beal can play off the ball, which is something that he's shown with John Wall not being there. And number two, on nights like yesterday when we need a basket, when we're down by a big amount, we can give the ball to Bradley Beal and he can just get us a basket. It's cool trying to do all these dribble handoffs to get shooters open and pick and rolls and all that stuff, but when you need a basket, we don't have that many players on our team that can get us a basket and legitimately like create their own shot. Tyler's getting there. Jimmy's good, but Jimmy is a guy that's going to consistently drive to the lane. He's not going to take a jump shot when we need one. Like when we need a basket, he's not going to look to take a jump shot. Bradley Beal has a full package, so he could be a guy that can really help us. Defensively, I don't think he's terrible, but I don't think he's great either. I think he's average defensively, maybe slightly below average. But I think the only reason the Bradley Beal thing, I think I saw a report where the Heat and the Heat have high interest on Bradley Beal, but if the Wizards ask for, Hero, Robinson, Precious Achiuwa, and picks, they wouldn't do that deal. And I mean, I probably wouldn't blame them because that is a lot, but you have to think that Bradley Beal is a guy that he is an all NBA player. He's a top 2 shooting guard with Klay Thompson being injured right now. I think he's the second best behind James Harden. So, I mean, it's gonna take a lot to get Bradley Beal to Miami. So I'm wondering. I want you guys to do this for each trade. What would you guys give up for Bradley Beal? Let me know down in the comments. And for every other player that I'm about to name, I think Bradley Beal is the toughest because it's gonna require the most. The one that's probably gonna require the second most is Zach LaVine, who's also on my list. Zach LaVine is a player that was mentioned in the comments as well. So was Bradley Beal last video. And I think Zach LaVine would be a good fit, but the only reason that I'd be hesitant to trade for Zach LaVine is his defense. And I think that defensively, we're already rolling out 3 liabilities in our normal starting lineup. If we trade for Zach LaVine, he'd probably replace either Tyler or Duncan, or Tyler or Duncan might not even be on the team if we trade for Zach LaVine. And Zach LaVine is kind of like in a similar situation with Bradley Beal, where he's the one bright spot on a very terrible team right now. The Chicago Bulls just blew a big lead to the Thunder a couple days ago, which is never a good look. And Zach LaVine is probably getting a bit frustrated with the situation. And I think we can trade for him. He's 26, 25, if I'm not mistaken, off the top of my head. And he is on a $20 million deal. But I think we could trade for him. We definitely have the pieces to trade for him. The hardest part about trading for guys like Bradley Beal or Zach LaVine is that they're going to want our young guys with a lot of promise back in return. I would be shocked if the Wizards or the Bulls did not ask for Tyler Hero in both of these trades, because Zach LaVine is an all-star caliber player. He's never made an all-star team, but this year is his year. I don't think there's an all-star team this year, but if there was, he would be on it. And Bradley Beal is a fringe superstar. He's an elite player in this league. So they're definitely gonna want Tyler Hero. And it's up to you guys to decide whether you guys would do it or not. I'm torn because I love Tyler, but I also want to win now. So I don't know if we should take the side of waiting until these guys fully develop. But the downside to that is that Jimmy Butler is already 31 years old. So do you want to win now, or do you want to sacrifice these young guys for people that can help you win now? All I'm saying is that if we trade for Bradley Beal and if we trade Tyler or whoever, if we trade Tyler, Duncan, Precious, whoever we trade, if we trade for Bradley Beal or Zach LaVine, it's absolutely inexcusable if this team does not win a championship. It doesn't have to be this year. But in the coming years, we have to win a championship. Is all I'm gonna say. If we trade for guys that are all-stars / superstars, that are gonna come in, demand our young guys to be gone, and are gonna help us win now. So Bradley Beal and Zach LaVine are the first 2 guys. So there are 5 guys on this list. The third guy is Victor Oladipo, and it's probably the guy that I want on this team the most, because I do think we can get him without giving up a Tyler Hero, because his value isn't as high as I'd probably say it was a couple years ago with his all-star all NBA form. He's still a cool player, averaging 20 points, so he looks rejuvenated off his injury. But the Houston Rockets are probably they're shopping him for sure. The reason why I love Oladipo in Miami is because, number one, the reason I take Oladipo over all these guys is because, number one, he wants to be here. And it's very rare that you see someone who's expressing this much interest that he wants to be in Miami. If I'm Pat Riley, I'm picking up the phone, and whoever the Houston Rockets' new GM is, because Daryl Morey's not there anymore, I'm trying to trade for Oladipo. Because Oladipo is a guy that, like I said, wants to be in Miami. He'd fit really well because he's a very good defender. Unlike Bradley Beal and Zach LaVine, he won't provide the same offensive, capabilities, but defensively, he's a very good defender. He can play without the ball. He can shoot the 3. He can drive. He has, what we need in Miami. He has the hustle too. He just came back from an injury and he looks very good. So he is a hard worker, Oladipo. And I think I'm not sure if the Rockets have this rule that they can't trade him until March. If they do, then let me know down in the comments below. We might have to trade for him a little bit later. But the Rockets, I mean, if we don't trade for him this season, we can always snag him in free agency because he is a free agent this year. The only problem with that is that he's going to want the max. He might want the max, and I think that's what he said last year with the Pacers. He might take a slight pay cut to be with the Heat because he wants to be here like really badly. So we can. It's a possibility that we're able to trade for Victor Oladipo. And if not, we can always snag him in free agency. But he's probably the guy that we can, on an all-star caliber level, he's probably a guy that makes the most sense for us to trade for, or would probably be the most realistic. I'm not sure how realistic Bradley Beal would be or Zach LaVine would be, because the Bulls and the Wizards asking price would be a huge asking price. The Rockets are already looking to ship him out, and he wants to come to Miami, so I don't think it'd take that much to get Victor Oladipo on the team. Number 4 is another guy that also, he was an all-star back in his day, and it's actually, I'm actually kind of cheating on this one because it's 2 players, but I put them under one spot because they're very similar players to me. LaMarcus Aldridge and Blake Griffin. And I think I was going to add Kevin Love to this mix as well, but I decided not to because Kevin Love has not played at all this season. I mean, he's played a couple games, but I think he's injured right now, or he has COVID or something like that. So I'm just going to limit it to LaMarcus Aldridge and Blake Griffin because I think they're both very similar players right now. Not in play styles, but in their career trajectories. Both of them were all-stars, all-NBA players once upon a time, very elite players in the NBA. And they're aging right now. Blake Griffin's a little younger, and LaMarcus Aldridge is a little bit older than Blake Griffin, but they're very similar, both averaging about 14 points per game. So I mean, LaMarcus was someone that was in the comment section last video. I didn't see Blake Griffin's name, and I think the reason that we're probably not going to trade for Blake Griffin is that his contract is absolutely huge. His contract is huge. Blake Griffin's making about, what is it? He's making upwards of 30-something million a year, and I mean, like, that's a lot of money for a guy that's only averaging 13.8 points per game. LaMarcus Aldridge is a guy that, he's averaging 13.5, which is why I rounded up to 14, but I'm not sure why so many people put him in the comment section. I can see it because we do need size. Yesterday we lacked size yesterday, and you can't blame that on Jimmy because Jimmy's not size. Like we lack centers. We lack bigs. Myers Leonard, I don't know, whatever you want to say about him, he probably would have helped yesterday, grab a few rebounds or whatever. We were letting a lot of offensive rebounds go to the Pistons. Shout out to the Pistons, man. Isaiah Stewart. Before I go on LaMarcus Aldridge, Isaiah Stewart. he really impressed me yesterday. So the Pistons got a good one. The Pistons look good for the future. I'm gonna say that right now. Their rookies, Sadiq Bey, Isaiah Stewart, Killian Hayes. They got someone else too. I forgot who they got. It was like a second rounder, but the three players, I picked Killian Hayes as like a dark horse for rookie of the year. Obviously he got injured, but I'm really high on Killian Hayes. I've watched him for a long time. Killian Hayes, he's really impressed me. Sadiq Bey is a 3-and-D guy who's very capable of just going off on any night. And Isaiah Stewart is a hustler. He reminds me of a Montrezl Harrell. Isaiah Stewart, undersized as well, kind of like Precious, but on the offensive glass, he's a beast. So shout out to the Pistons. They played a great game yesterday. But LaMarcus Aldridge, or slash Blake Griffin, and slash Kevin Love, I'm gonna add him on there right now. These guys are all similar in my opinion. Maybe their contracts are not, but I feel like they're guys that don't fit the timeline of their teams, and guys that would probably serve well on a championship contender. I'm telling you right now, I don't know about Blake Griffin, but it would not take that much to get LaMarcus and Kevin Love on the team. Because, well, number one, they're not playing at an all-star. They're playing cool, like 13.5, 14 points per game. It's cool, but they're not playing at an elite level. And I think we could probably give up Kelly Olynyk, maybe Chris Silva or something like that in a second round pick. I don't know. We won't have to give up that much for LaMarcus or Kevin Love. Like it won't take that much. I promise you guys right now. If we have to give up Tyler or Duncan or Precious for LaMarcus or Kevin Love, then there's something wrong. So I think either of these guys would be good fits because they can stretch the floor for Bam. They can be a stretch for, and they also provide size. Maybe not defense, but they provide size, and size is what we lack right now. The last guy, which I also think would be a great fit on this team, is PJ Tucker. PJ Tucker is a guy that we've been linked to a lot recently with the James Harden situation. It was us and the Celtics who are in for PJ Tucker right now, and PJ Tucker, I think would fit us to a T. When you think about PJ Tucker, you think about he's a grinder, he's a hustler. He's a guy that he's just a guy that would fit the culture. Like if I'm looking at PJ Tucker, he fits the culture, man. He fits the culture, and I don't even have to see him on the Heat to know that. I think he is a better version of a Jay Crowder when he's fully healthy and everything. I think that maybe not a better version because I don't want to disrespect Jay, but he's the best corner 3-point shooter in the league. PJ Tucker, he hit 39% from 3 last year. He can defend all 5 positions. Yes, all 5 positions. Last year he was playing center for the Rockets. So I mean, I think we could probably get him for Myers Leonard and Kendrick Nunn. I don't think it would affect. Ask PJ Tucker would ask a lot, especially because he hasn't played that much this year. I don't think he's played that much this year, and he wants out. The Rockets want to trade him. He's a hard-nosed player, and he's a Miami Heat kind of guy, man. He fits the culture. He fits everything that the Miami Heat stand for. So I really want PJ Tucker on the team, and which is why I think in March we should try to trade for Oladipo and PJ. Out of all 5 of these guys, I'd probably try to get Oladipo and PJ Tucker on the team. And if we do, we'll be golden, in my opinion. We get the guard that can create his own shot and also defend very well. And we get the guy that can be the Jay Crowder replacement, but maybe even be a better version of Jay Crowder. I think we'll be golden. So if I'm Pat Riley, I don't know who the Rockets GM is, but in March, whenever Oladipo is eligible to be traded, pick up the phone, man, and just let's get these guys on board. It's up to you guys in the comment section to tell me what you guys want to trade for Bradley Beal, Zach LaVine, Oladipo, LaMarcus Aldridge / Kevin Love / Blake Griffin, and PJ Tucker. So let me know down in the comments below what you guys would be willing to give up, because I think that's probably the toughest question. Letting go of your young talent for winning now. But I don't think we'd have to let go of that much young talent if we trade for PJ Tucker and Victor Oladipo. Now we probably might not even have to trade for Oladipo. We can just snag him in free agency. So let's see what the Heat does. Right now we're struggling a little bit, but when the guys come back, I think we'll bounce back. But I really think a trade should be made so that we solidify ourselves at the top of the East with the Brooklyn Nets. who look absolutely amazing. I saw their game yesterday. They looked really good. But yeah, that's gonna be the end of the video, guys. Let me know down in the comment section below what you guys thought of this video, what you guys' trade packages would be for any of these guys, and try to be as realistic as possible. Like the video, subscribe to the video. I'll see you guys next week. Peace.